I'm of the strong opinion that modern science has a long history, and I love science, don't misunderstand this, but science has a long history of being wrong, seriously wrong, on important issues. For years they taught if you were sick, it's because you had bad blood, and they drained your blood out or drained some blood out to help you get well. That's how George Washington was killed. For years they taught that heavy objects fall faster than lighter objects. Matter of fact, that was taught for 2,000 years until Galileo proved that was wrong by dropping off the cannonball and the BB from the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And today science is wrong on, I think, two rather important issues. Number one, they are wrong about the age of the earth. Really, the issue of creation and evolution can be settled pretty quickly if you can prove the earth is young. And the modern philosophy, and I prefer to call it a religion, the modern religion of evolution is based on the assumption that the world is billions of years old. If the universe is not billions of years old, then the argument's over. It had to be created. And I have quite a collection of scientific evidences that the earth is young, in the neighborhood of 6,000 or 7,000 years. Now that happens to coincide with the Bible, and I do believe the Bible from cover to cover, but that doesn't hinder or limit my scientific investigation. I can come at this with my eyes wide open. I am not prejudiced. I am willing to look at any evidence, and I have a long-time standing offer of $10,000 for anyone who can offer any scientific evidence for evolution. Evolution is simply a pagan religion that is being promoted as fact in the school system today, and I resent my tax dollars going to pay for that. I believe kids ought to be told the truth. And the truth is, there is a lot of evidence the earth is young. Let me just give you a few of them, and I have hundreds. The sun is shrinking 5 feet every hour on the average right now. If it were millions of years old, only 20 million years ago, the sun would have been so large it would touch the earth's orbit. It cannot be billions of years old because of the shrinking sun. The moon is receding, slowly getting further away from us. Less than 1 million years ago, the moon would have been close enough to cause tides that would drown everybody on earth twice a day. That's less than 1 million years ago. Less than 2 or 3 million years ago, it would have been inside Roche's limit. It could not orbit. The moon and earth system cannot be more than a few million years old, period. Evolutionists will categorically ignore any evidence that teaches the earth is young because they so desperately need millions or billions of years to make their theory look reasonable. There's a lot of evidence, and I have plenty of stuff. The dust layer on the moon, it was predicted to be 182 feet thick because they knew it got about an inch thick every 10,000 years. And yet when they landed on it, it was only 3/4 of an inch thick, indicating 6,000 or 7,000 years of dust accumulation. Here on Earth, just from biology, which I taught biology, earth science, and physical science for 15 years, there are many examples from biology. The genetic load that we carry that's slowly been accumulating, getting worse and worse, could not have gone on for billions of years. The population of the Earth right now is only 5 million. Based on current population growth, it would have gone from near zero to 5 billion in less than a few thousand years, which again happens to correspond exactly with what the Bible teaches, that the population started 4,400 years ago with a worldwide flood. But I have plenty of evidence that the earth is young, and every time you try to mention anything about the earth being young, the spin of the earth, for instance, is slowing down. We have to add 1,000th of a second every day because of the slowing spin rate of the earth. That would mean less than 1 million years ago, it would be going so fast that it would be like Jupiter, causing constant hurricanes on the surface of the earth. And these are things that man can do nothing about. We cannot control the spin of the earth or the receding moon or the shrinking sun, or Jupiter is losing heat, and Jupiter's moon Io is extremely volcanic, and yet it's extremely small. It should have lost all of its heat and been ice cold millions of years ago. But any evidence that the solar system is young is categorically rejected by those who believe in evolution. And I'm of the firm opinion that people choose evolution because of their training. There are some sincere, honest people who believe it because that's all they've been taught. But there are some who believe it because it's politically expedient to go along with the mainstream. You would definitely lose a job in a university like this if you were to go against the mainstream teaching of evolution and espouse creation, or if a geologist here became convinced the earth was young and began teaching that, or at any major university, he would be in jeopardy of losing his job. Another thing I'd like to point out, the earth is not millions of years old. Carbon-14 dating and those kind of things would be a little technical for this audience. We won't get into that. But Willard Libby, that invented carbon dating, said it's only accurate for 2,000 to 3,000 years. And he said it should be in equilibrium in less than 30,000 years in the atmosphere, and it's still not in equilibrium right now. It's only 1/3 of the way to equilibrium. Therefore, the atmosphere has to be less than 10,000 years old. But this kind of information, it's called an anomaly. And you'll hear people who believe in evolution talk about things, well, that's just an anomaly, we don't have a way to explain that, but that doesn't mean we need to throw out the theory. Well, I say yes, we do need to throw out the theory. Evolution has been falsified in the minds of many. 90-some% of the population of the United States does not believe in evolution, and yet all of us have to pay for it to be taught. Modern science is very wrong today about geology, which my friend here teaches at this university. Most of modern geology is based on the geologic column. And very few people realize that the geologic column, as it's presented, the 12 different layers, the Cenozoic, Mesozoic, and Paleozoic era, does not exist any place in the world except in the textbook. That's the only place it can be found in that order. Geologic column is a hoax developed by Charles Lyell in 1830 and others. It's been a great influential tool in the world in developing our modern thinking, and that is supposedly the crowning accomplishment of geology, the fact that they think they have proved the Earth is millions of years old. I have many pictures, some on the table here, of what are called polystrata fossils, petrified trees like I have on the board, on the chalkboard. Many times, trees are found running through many layers of strata. I have a picture of a 47-foot tall tree running through 40 or 50 million years worth of strata by evolutionist thinking. And yet the tree is standing up, vertical position, petrified. The simple fact is a worldwide flood, as mentioned in the Bible, would have caused all of the layers of strata in less than a year. Just the Earth turning under the moon, the tides would cause 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 layers every day to be deposited. Mount St. Helens proved that when it erupted in 1980. It blew 600 feet of mud down into the Toutle River and blocked off the Toutle River. The mud dam lasted 5 days until the river breached over the top and carved out a miniature Grand Canyon in about 30 minutes. The miniature Grand Canyon that it carved out, and I've got plenty of pictures of that, was when they went down into it, they noticed it was all stratified, just like Grand Canyon is, all layers of strata. Well, moving water, moving mud automatically sorts particles by density, hydrologic sorting that's called. And so the worldwide flood mentioned in the Bible caused all of the layers of strata that we see, and all of the erosion was caused very quickly, or most of the erosion was caused, the Badlands and Grand Canyon, etc., was caused in the first day or so as the floodwaters receded, which is plainly taught in Psalms 104 and Genesis chapter 8. So I believe that the geologic sciences, and I taught earth science for 13 out of my 15 years, the geologic column is absolutely a hoax and a fraud. All of the dating of the geologic column is based on the types of fossils that they find, and yet they date the fossils by the layer that they're found in. It's absolutely circular reasoning. They have index fossils for each layer, and then the fossils are dated by the layer, and the layer is dated by the fossils. I could prove that and document that over and over. That's a classic case of circular reasoning. The geologist looks to the biologist to prove evolution, and the biologist looks back to the geologist and hopes he has proved it. Actually, neither one has proved it. It's simply a hoax and a lie, and it's a 20th century myth. Evolution is not science at all and has no business being taught in the science textbook. So, as far as geology, the thing that concerns me most, I guess, is the effects that evolution has on our society. This doctrine of evolution, the idea that man is the ultimate, we are the God of the universe, has brought us people like Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin and Karl Marx and Pol Pot and a host of others that have wreaked havoc on our society directly because of their evolutionary thinking. They think man is just an animal and that only the strongest survive, and you have to be the most ruthless to make it ahead. And it has brought terrible heartache and suffering to this world, and I am of the strong opinion and have dedicated my life to getting evolution out of the public schools. If a person believes evolution is true, and they have certainly they have a right to believe that, but they need to go to start a private school and charge tuition and have people pay to learn that. It is not right to make all of the public pay to have that religion of evolution taught in the public schools. It should be classified as a religion, and it should be removed. Any reference of millions of years ago should be removed from the textbooks and should be removed from any state or any tax-supported institution. If they're not going to teach all religions, then they should not be allowed to teach that religion. So that's how much time do I have, brother?
You have 2 minutes.
2 minutes, okay.
Maximum. You don't have to take it.
Oh, I will. I got lots more to say here. Evolution has many faulty assumptions. Number one, they assume the world is billions of years old, and it is not. It cannot be billions of years old. Everything is running down. Evolution is also based on the assumption that you can get order from chaos. They completely overlook or ignore the question of where did the matter come from, where did the laws come from, where did the order come from, questions like that. They are based on the assumption that we have increasing complexity, that you can go from simple forms to more complex forms. That has never been observed. There is no evidence of any, in the fossil record, of any animal changing to any other kind of animal. No evidence today and no evidence in the fossil record at all. They are based on the assumption in biological evolution that there are beneficial mutations, and yet no one has ever observed one beneficial mutation. There aren't any. Evolution is based on the assumption that similarity proves a common ancestry. Because apes and humans are similar, they conclude we must have a common ancestor. I would say similarity proves a common creator. Just like the Honda Civic and the Honda Accord have some similarities, well, that proves they're both made by the same company. It doesn't prove they both evolved from a Chevy. The argument can go either way. So similarity does not necessarily prove common ancestry. And lastly, the tragic thing is that a large number of scientists today believe that science is the only reality. If it cannot be proven scientifically, it cannot be real. Well, I would submit that today we do not know what gravity is. We know what it does, but we don't know what it is. We don't know what light is, and we don't know what magnetism is. And yet we use all three of those all the time. They are definitely real, even though we do not understand them. And I say God is just as real, and He did create this world about 6,000 or 7,000 years ago.